when she says, ask for that, then.
Chair would, Brian is amazing. I do everything digital, so. Chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the claims.
So moved.
No, you read it.
No, that's fine. A council member,
Consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $582,770. Eland credit cards in the amount of $5,926.49, and manual checks in the amount of $3,000. Payroll and liabilities for February 7th in the amount of $226,142.33 for a total of $577,651.59. You seconded.
I'll second it. How does that work for you?
That worked, no, I mean, you
all in,
gotta do it right.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passed. Is there anything additional that the committee needs to review? Okay, there being no other business to come before this committee, I adjourn the Finance Committee meeting at 6:46.
Thank you.
I now call the February 18th, 2025 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 p.m. Councilmember Borders is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, after which I will lead us in an invocation. If everyone could please rise and remove cover. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to meet here together as a city council and with these citizens and staff members. We thank thee very much for the hard work of those who serve the city in many different roles. Ask thee to please bless them with safety and with thy guidance as they serve. Especially would ask thee to bless our first responders, those who are serving in the military, and particularly Officer Borchard and our other officer whose name escapes me, but please bless them, Harmelink. Please bless them with safety and help them to know of thy comforting hand and that they can be guided by thee. We ask that please help us throughout this meeting that we can have thy guidance and make the decisions that will best serve our community members. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Something like that. Yeah, it took me a minute. All right. Administrative Services Director, could you please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilmember Eric Carr.
Absent.
Councilmember Rebecca Pearson-Lewis.
Here.
Councilmember Mike Bailey.
Absent.
Councilmember Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilmember Kyle Larson.
Here.
Councilmember Karen Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Tim Hancock.
I am here. I'd entertain a motion to excuse Councilmember Carr and Councilmember Bailey from tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Larson, motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilman Larson. We should just start the meeting all over again from scratch.
Over.
We do it, just a do-over today. Any discussion or amendments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. I would like to note that I have a little bit of an objection to us excusing Councilman Carr because he's in Mexico and enjoying warm weather, and we are not here. So, anyway, I joke. I declare we have a quorum. Entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilwoman Johnson with the second. Any discussion, amendments, additions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Council committee reports and council members roundtable. How about you start us off tonight, if you don't mind, Councilwoman Johnson?
Didn't really have a busy couple of weeks. However, I did go to the Fremont County Law Enforcement Foundation benefit dinner, and it was wonderfully attended. It was a great time. I ended up with a dog that now resides at my daughter's house, and it's going to be a monster. The other thing I did yesterday, I was able to meet with Mr. Kershish. I'm going to.
Krishishnik.
Thank you.
You got it.
And discuss some economic development plans and got a tour of the Brunton building. I was actually really surprised at that Brunton building. I thought the entire building was all Brunton, and it's not. It's actually got County 10 in there. It's got Bootstrap Collaborative, lots of little office spaces. Pretty amazing building. But we had a really good discussion, and I was able to visit with him. Other than that, I don't have anything else going on.
Great, thank you. Thanks for letting us know about the Brunton building. I've been over there for a couple of different events. It's a really nice place.
It's impressive.
Did you get to go downstairs and get to see everything that they have going on there for?
It was President's Day, so a lot of it was locked up, but the main core of it is just, it's really nice. It's very sleek. It's very welcoming.
They did a tour, I think, last year, the year before, and being able to get down to where they make transits and everything, all of that, it's really cool. When you get an opportunity, you should do it.
Very nice.
It's a nice area. All right, Councilman Larson?
I attended the Downtowners meeting last week. And the discussion centered around police department and the ways and means of protecting the downtowners who unfortunately appear to be mostly female. Nothing against females, but there is always a fear factor because males are stronger and stupider than females. Yes, you heard me right. And so the police officers were instructing them on how to call and who to call when they had visitors into their shops that they didn't want. They also talked about cameras, surveillance cameras, and methods of keeping their inventory in the store that was not paid for. Theft. And it was a very instructive meeting, and they're having several opportunities to visit downtown. There's going to be a rock festival and several other items, and they are working on their home pages, et cetera, for the business. But it was attended by about 10 people, so it was really good.
When you say rock festival, are we talking like Woodstock?
No, we're talking geodes and
Minerals,
agates and
Okay.
making sure.
rocks,
Okay,
not rocking or musical.
not rock and roll,
No,
just rocks.
rocks. Rock shop.
Anything else?
Nope, that was it, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir, and thanks for the clarification.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Borders?
Okay, first of all, I came from the pause meeting earlier tonight. They've got a lot of really neat things going on. They have a brand-new website. It's not quite ready to go yet, but they say within about 10 days it should be good. Their phone system is up and running. Whitney was able to test it and actually get to her voicemail, so that's a definite plus. They've got a lot of really neat things in the works. One thing that was really fun is last Friday and Saturday, they had a couple of pups down at the Riverton Chamber, and they were doing a kissing booth. And they had some sweet little dogs in there, and they actually did pretty well from the sounds of it. On that same note, I went to the chamber luncheon, not last Friday, but the one before, I guess on the 7th. And they always do something really neat for their business owners. This time they did a presentation on 307, what the heck is it called?
Financial or 307 Thrift?
No, the 3D printing.
Oh, Makerspace.
Makerspace,
Yeah,
that's what it was.
right.
I had it before I started talking. So
Yeah.
Taggart Harmelink.
yes, they did a presentation on that. It was really, really cool. Lots of neat things that they can do up there. So let's see, what else was there? I think that's about it for me this time.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
welcome.
Councilwoman Pearson Lewis, you look kind of lonely over there.
Yeah, I am missing my friends. Not much for me. I always write down the things that I've done, and there hasn't been much the last few weeks. I went to a choir concert at RHS, which is always fun. The community packs the house always. I love the support that Riverton gives to the band and choir every time. There's 500 seats and they're packed. So that was amazing. But that's about it. So, yeah.
You've kind of got an in with the high school. When are we going to be able to start having choir concerts at the high school?
I'm going to give you, maybe I should give you a little preview here, but we are on online. But I will tell you that the hope is that the spring musical will be in the new auditorium.
Okay.
And that's May.
If that can work out, that'd be great.
So maybe, hopefully she's not mad at me for saying this, but yeah, that's the hope.
I won't tell. Recorded.
It's recorded, but I'll tell you, that's gonna be the hope, is that, May we're in. I'll tell you, and I talked to Reggie Miller the other day, and everything's just about done.
Might
It's-
happen, huh?
It's all done, almost. It's just, they just have to kind of put it all in.
Great. Well, it's looking good. The auditorium is
It's looking really good, yeah,
great.
yeah.
All right.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I neglected to mention one thing I wanted to help promote is next week on the 27th, they're having the Empty Bowl from 5 to 7.
Oh,
So you can go down, I'm not sure what the costs are, but you can go down, it's from 5 to 7, buy a bowl, fill it with whatever soup you want, and it's an amazing event for Abba's House,
oh, yeah.
so.
And that's the 20
I think it is, yeah.
27th,
Okay,
February 27th.
Yeah, that's a
Okay,
really
Yes.
good one.
great. Okay, thank you. Good reminder. All right. Mr. Butterfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have a few items. First, I'd just like to express my personal and sincere condolences to the city of Lander and the Richardson family over the loss of Monty Richardson. And I know that comes from all of the staff members as well. In my experience with Mayor Richardson, he was always kind to me, and he made me feel like I was worth a darn, and I always appreciated that. And I think first and foremost, he cared about the city of Lander and Fremont County, and we will miss working with him. Would like to make note that we will have a planning commission meeting this Thursday at 5:30, and there will be a subdivision that will be going before the planning commission, a replat of a subdivision, and then also a proposed alley vacation, and that's near the St. Margaret's Church. So again, that meeting is open to the public, and it is this Thursday at 5:30. There will also be an airport board meeting this Friday at 8 a.m., and Mr. Eggleston has informed me that that meeting will take place at the airport terminal this month. So 8 a.m. at the airport terminal this Friday. We're also very pleased that we've got training scheduled for all of our city employees this upcoming Monday that will meet some of our regulatory requirements for harassment and workplace issues. But also, we've been able to partner with the Northern Arapaho Tribe to come and do cultural training for our employees, and we are looking forward to that opportunity. We also have trainings Tuesday morning for our supervisors, and that's in partnership with LGLP, or the Local Government Liability Trust. A lot is going on at the session, and I've mentioned that in most of my roundtable reports. I appreciated the opportunity to be in Cheyenne last week and to work alongside the Wyoming Association of Municipalities and also the Wyoming Airports Coalition as we're monitoring bills that impact the city of Riverton, airports, and local governments in general. And I would say that WAM has us very well represented, and I also appreciate the efforts of our state elected officials because this has been a very busy session for them, and we appreciate the work that they're doing. A few personnel announcements. We're sad to announce the retirement of Chief Operator Dennis Lawrence, who's over our Collection and Distribution Division. The Collection and Distribution Division oversees our water and sewer systems that provide service to all of our residents and our businesses in town. We are pleased, however, to announce that we do have a replacement for Mr. Lawrence in place. That's Andrew Logan. Mr. Logan has extensive experience with the city of Riverton, recently left to explore the private sector, and we're very happy that he's decided to come back to the dark side and work for the government.
Light side.
The light side, excuse me. All levity aside, we are very pleased because losing Mr. Lawrence is challenging because he has near 30 years of experience, understands the technicality of distributing water and collecting wastewater, and having someone like Mr. Logan step in is going to be very valuable so that we do not have a gap in the customer service that we provide our residents. You'll notice that Chief Hurtado is not here tonight. I excused him from the meeting. He had a family issue that came up just a half hour before the meeting started. We will welcome and are pleased to have Lieutenant Warden here in his place. And I also should mention that we're very glad to have our interim building official, Mr. Paskett, here tonight. And then also our soon-to-be Community Development Director, Gary Michaud, in attendance as well. With that, Your Honor, I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Well, I would say what I want to start with is talking about Mayor Richardson. I don't think I don't know how Mayor Richardson would have seen me. I don't think I saw him as a close friend, but I certainly saw him as a very important partner in the work that we do regularly with the city of Riverton. And I really appreciated his mentorship. I appreciated any opportunity that I had to visit with him. I liked the way you put it, Mr. Butterfield. He really made you feel like you were someone who was important. And I think that applied to anyone that he met. And I just think he was a good example for what somebody called him this, and I thought it was just the perfect word for what a statesman should be. I think that far too often we get caught up in the minutia or caught up in something else besides that really what our business should be is people. And that's my, how much I love Christmas Carol, which is, saying people is our business. And I think that that's really how Mayor Richardson saw it, I think. So if we can, I'd like to just have a moment of silence for Mayor Richardson, just an appreciation and recognition for his work over the years and just how much he's meant for the community of Riverton, but also for the community of Fremont County as a whole, and just ask everyone to have a moment for him. Thank you. My hope, I guess, is that we can all have a little bit more of the spirit that I think he brought to the people around him in our lives. And so for those of us that knew him, I hope that that's a way that we can remember him as someone who was always willing to make the people around him feel special. For those who want to attend, they will have funeral services for him Friday, February 21st, 10 a.m. at the Lander Community Center. They have, his family has actually established a memorial fund in his honor to plant trees at the new Paposia River Park and the Antelope Park in Lander. So in lieu of flowers, the family asked that that would be done. On another note, I had the opportunity to attend and play the piano and the organ at Marion Ringer's funeral. Marion Ringer was the wife of Bart Ringer. People may remember Bart Ringer is a long-standing member of the Riverton Police Department who retired and then decided he couldn't stay away, and so he came back. Those of you who know Bart, he's not in active duty, as in going and taking people down, although he'd probably enjoy that. You think, Brian?
Oh, yeah.
He'd just about be willing to do it. So Bart had been married to Marion for 50 years. They had had a long relationship. And anybody that would know him and Marion knows how much he doted on her. She had a stroke quite a bit ago that really affected her ability to function and had had some heart problems more recently. And Bart just did a great job taking care of her, and she passed away
just recently, and we had her funeral, and so I'd like to send my condolences to the Ringer family and just how much they mean to us and to me. So Marion will be missed. In other news, I had an opportunity to meet with Mr. Butterfield and Mr. Kevin Krashishnik. I just wanted to say his name so that you could hear it more, and
Gonna let you say it.
maybe it'll work. Mr. Kevin Krashishnik, yeah, try spelling it, that's the trick.
I'm good.
So we had an opportunity to speak with one of the producers for the Dennis Quaid show, Viewpoint. They had expressed some interest in Riverton appearing in their show. Some of the initial elatement and excitement of that was tempered by the fact that, oh yes, and you'll have to pay us, what, $20,000 to take advantage of this opportunity? We want to feature you, but we also want you to pay us $20,000, and then you'll be featured. A worthwhile discussion, I think, however. There is some that could go into it that could be good, and I think we could have some more discussion on that later on in terms of whether that's a good idea or not as we're looking at the financials.
Is that called payola?
Maybe. So that's about it for me. I also had an opportunity to head over to Laramie. My son was a finalist, and so I'll toot his horn a little bit. TJ, my son, was a finalist for the trustee scholarship at UW, and so he went and did his interview with them, and we'll find out this week if he made it or not. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. It was really good to get down to Laramie, though, because I'm at the age where a lot of my friends have kids that were finalists too, and I was able to see them there. And it was a little bit weird because some of them I haven't seen for like 15 years. And the last time I saw Scarlett, she was like this. She's not like that anymore. So it was a good opportunity to kind of have a little bit of reunion with some friends from Laramie. All right, that's it for me. Communication from the floor. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on an item that's scheduled for a public hearing will be given an opportunity to speak during that public hearing. However, if you would like to speak about an item that's not scheduled for a public hearing and that does not appear on the agenda, now would be the time to speak. If you want to talk about something that's going to appear on the agenda, you can get my attention when that agenda item is up, and then you're free to speak to the council then. Whether you speak then or whether you speak now, I would ask you to leave your comments to 5 minutes for an individual, or 10 minutes if you're a part of a group. Split it between you and the other members of your group. I would ask while you're making your comments that you avoid, well, first off, that it's a formality, but it's a formality we generally have during meetings, which is address all comments and questions to me, refrain from individual comment or criticism, or indecent or fighting language. Keep to the issue under consideration. In other words, if there's an agenda item that we're talking about, please stay on that agenda item. And yeah, that'd be about it. So if anyone wants to speak on an item that's not already on the agenda, feel free to come up now.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Cindy Olson-Roden from the Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center, for those that don't know. I usually give an update and let you know what's going on with the Chamber and Visitor Center. So this Thursday, 2 nights from tonight, we've got our after-hours networking event at Benessery Clinic, which is on the southwest corner of 6th and Washington. They are co-sponsoring with Wyoming Title Company and the Cats Museum. So it should be a good one if anyone can attend from 5 to 7. Those are usually really good events. This Saturday, the Chamber Board of Directors and myself are going to have a small retreat. We're going to go over some things that we've accomplished this year, and then kind of do some brainstorming for this year and what we'd like to do. So we're looking forward to that. And no, it's not in Mexico or anywhere, it's at the Riverton Branch Library. And then our next Lunch and Learn is March 7th. And we've got the Fremont County Leadership Group putting on a presentation for that. So that should be as well interesting. I did want to just quickly say thank you to the TAD committee for considering our application and making a recommendation. We appreciate everything you do for that, and I just want to say thanks. And then it occurred to me when Carla Councilman Borders was down for pause the other day, I thought, why have I not invited everybody to come down to the visitor center and the chamber and see the visitor center and see everything that we have used our TAD money for and whatnot? So we are under a little construction right now. They're putting in a lower ceiling for some insulation, so it is kind of a mess now, but I'll keep you updated. I'd like everyone, you can just stop in on your own time. It doesn't have to be formal, and I'd like to show off what we have down there because it is a true visitor center. And I don't know if anyone's noticed our huge banner flags that we have now, so we're really excited about that for signage, and that's about all I've got, so thank you.
What are the hours for the visitor center?
It is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Great.
Yep.
I got there at 8:50. I mean, it wasn't, I knew I was probably early, but I just wanted to make sure people knew 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. And if you really want to come in, you can use the side door on 6th Street. I'm there at 8. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you wanted to come in at 8.
I should have snuck in.
Yeah, you can come on the side door.
Where did you get that big flag?
We got it through Ranger Printers. They helped us order those, and we have 3 of them. 2 that say Visitor Center or Visitor Information. The other one says Riverton Chamber and Visitor Center.
Cool.
Yeah,
I've noticed.
they're catchy.
They're pretty large.
Yes, they are.
You don't miss them.
That's a point. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes? I should have said, in addition to 5 minutes, I would ask also, let us know your name before you come up. Cindy did great.
Good
Or
evening.
not before you come up, when you come up.
Correct. Good evening, City Council members and the public. My name is Nicole Wagon. And good to see you all again. And I came down tonight in regards to the liquor license, extended hours, correct? And as an Indigenous person, relative of Wind River, I'm absolutely against it. I don't know how else to state it, but what's the good in it? I mean, our county is hurting. So with that being said, of stopping the violence, alcohol is a factor. Alcohol and drugs don't care who you are, don't care if you're African American, Native American, non-Native, Chinese, it doesn't matter who you are. And it affects all of us. And I advocate tirelessly to make it better, to make it safe, especially for my grandchildren. So I stand here, you know, from all what this county has been going through. And with this extended hours of liquor, I just believe there's no good in it. Alcohol is a disease. That's how I look at it. And I try to be a part of the community to make it better, whether it's having an unhoused summit that gave birth to the Riverton Rescue Mission, that gave birth to something else. We haven't found a solution. A lot of the people that are homeless do have a story. I don't know if you ever stopped to talk to them, but some kind of trauma placed them there. Some kind of trauma, whether it's a former veteran. I was raised military half my life, and I am a full-blooded Northern Arapaho tribal member. That's who I am. And my dad always reminded me, never forget who I am and where I come from. So with that being said, I ask you guys to reconsider. And I don't think it's worth the money. We're talking about people's lives, livelihood. People are getting stabbed. People are getting murdered. People are getting raped. People are getting sex trafficked. Things that people do not want to talk about. But these are facts. And my heart goes out to law enforcement. I support law enforcement, because who are you going to call? For the law and order, for help. So I think as a citizen, to come over here and stand up to speak out and to absolutely rethink this and to say no. Is it really worth that money? What is it really about? And we're putting other people in danger. DUIs, those kind of factors. It's true. We always have these programs. Where are they? MAD. Where's that? Where's DARE? People always start something. They drop the ball. Where are they at? And it's always something that pushes and drives. And then I don't know if people give up or they give up on hope. But I look at my grandchildren every day, and I just felt obligated to stand up and speak out. So look at yourselves in the mirror tonight of what you stand for. The people elected you into these positions to advocate for the people, no matter who they are. I believe that's what you guys signed up for. Your character, your integrity. So with that being said, I was asked to come down a couple of times, but I haven't been able to. Because I'm quite the busy lady, involved into a lot of issues with my reservation and in the county, in the community, and advocating for my indigenous people, whether it's at the state level, tribal, city, school. I mean, we have 740 plus students going to District 25. My people make up 40%. So with that being said, I try to encourage people to come down here, speak with you guys, talk with you, engage, speak up, speak out. So not to be afraid, and to listen and to be heard. And to share real quick, I did testify at the state level with MMIP. for law enforcement and changes. And I was kind of disappointed. I was the only Indigenous person. And I thought, Indigenous people just don't get murdered on the reservation. They get murdered in the cities, elsewhere. So it's just not an Indigenous thing either. So when Miss Desiree reached out to me in support, I told her, absolutely. It would be inhumane not to support that for people. We are human. And to embrace one another and to make it better for others. That's where I stand. So I thank you for your time, and I hope you guys reconsider for the sake of Fremont County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Andy Anderson. I want to thank you for your time this evening. And I want to follow up on that along those lines. Adding to the problem that we've had for years, many years, is something that we don't need to do. So by saying we're going to add more hours for the sale and consumption of alcohol in our community, bad idea. There's a lot of smart people in this community, a lot of smart people that come up with this stuff. And it's just, if you look at the track record we've had with the legal issues, the property issues, the damages in the community, all of this stuff that happens due to alcohol, okay? Give you a little information on myself. I've been in the community 10 years. I was ex-military. I'm an alcoholic. Haven't drank a drink in 40 years. Woke up early, realized what alcohol does to your body. I agree with this young lady sitting here behind me. Thank you for your time and coming in. There's many things that we have to look at. Not only is it going to generate a revenue for the liquor licenses, for the alcohol sales, that's not what it's about. She's right. It's about people. And someone up here mentioned, you're here to serve the people. By feeding them more alcohol, that is not the answer. The answer is finding a way to find facilities, to find programs, to find reasons why these people have to exist other than spending their time in the bottle. Plain and simple. It's an easy answer, and I hope and pray to God that someone relies on their common sense to say, look, let's relook at this issue, let's think about it some more. But I think we, the people here in Riverton, Wyoming, are thoroughly against extending the hours of alcohol sales, extending the time to allow that to happen due to a profit margin that needs to be met. I'm sorry, but that's wrong. I had a whole list of other things that's been going on, and I'm not going there because I think this is #1 priority. I think this as a whole is something that the community needs to look at. I've had damage to my property. I've had damage to my truck. I've had damage, we live across from the park. There's been so much damage to that park issue that, just look at what the damage is that the alcohol, not the individuals, the alcohol has to bring to the table. And that's where we need to draw the line, is figure out a way to help these people rise up, get away from the alcohol, and find the issues at hand that are more important than collecting that dollar bill on extra bottle sales out the door. So, and with that, condensed quite down to what I had to say. Thank you very much for your time and your effort. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. All right, we'll move on. Administrative Services Director, if you could please read the consent agenda items by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes, February 4th, 2025, regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes, February 18th, 2025, Finance Committee meeting. Approval of the Finance Committee recommendations, February 18th, 2025. Approval of the Municipal Court report for the month of January 2025. Open container permit application for Debbie Zirkle Family Reunion at Sunset Park, July 12th, 2025, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m.
All right. Finance Committee have a recommendation regarding the claims. Who's going to speak for the Finance Committee?
We do, Your Honor.
Please, go ahead.
Please consider a motion for claims to be paid in the amount of $577,651.59. Is that correct? Is that what I say?
Claims is in the amount of $342,582.77?
Yeah.
Okay. Elon credit card. What was the recommendation
Hold on.
regarding the Elon
I
credit
gotta
card?
find it.
Ah,
Give me a second. It's somewhere in here. $5,926.49. Manual check, 3,000. Payroll, 226,142.33.
thank you. Have a motion regarding the consent agenda.
So moved, Your Honor.
To approve it?
To approve, yes.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilwoman Johnson. Discussion or amendments? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right, we've had 2 public comments regarding this already, but this is the actual moment for the item. Consideration of Ordinance 25001, second reading, amending Riverton Municipal Code, Chapter 5.04, alcoholic beverages, hours of operation. Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll be brief, as I know we went through this during the last meeting, and we held the public hearing. A discussion was held regarding a request from liquor license holders to extend the hours of their Sunday service. They pointed out that the current 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. window makes it challenging to offer morning drinks for Sunday brunch, accommodate tournament schedules, and serve customers who want to watch sporting events at local bars and restaurants. To address this, the city staff looked into liquor service hours in other municipalities across the state. Most cities allowed the same service hours every day of the week, including Sundays. I actually did go out and poll 10 communities in Wyoming, and all 10 of them have the same service hours. To better support local businesses and stay in line with these communities, the staff is proposing a change to the city ordinance. Under this proposal, liquor sales would be allowed from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day, with drive-through sales limited to 6 a.m. to 12 a.m., 12 midnight. This adjustment would give businesses more flexibility while keeping our policies consistent with the rest of the state. The proposal will now be considered by the council for potential approval, and I would stand for any questions you would have on this.
Thank you. If you could also read Ordinance 25001 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed ordinance number 25-001, an ordinance amending Title V, Business Licenses and Regulations to revise Chapter 5.04, Alcoholic Beverages, Section 5.04.040, Hours of Sale, Section 5.04.120, Subsection A, Paragraph 1A, Liquor License Requirements, restrictions by category, delivery of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 25001 on second reading.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Larson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Pearson Lewis. All right, discussion.
Your Honor.
Councilwoman Johnson.
I had an opportunity, I actually pay attention to what's said online regarding the last meeting and the reporting that was done on it. There is a significant amount of negative comments regarding this ordinance per se. I am still 110% against it and will continue that way. While I appreciate Mia's efforts in looking at the other communities, I don't think that they have the same dynamics that Riverton has. And I don't think that they're faced with a lot of the problems that we deal with. And so I don't know that that's an equal comparison to use. And while I also understand that these businesses, I had an opportunity to visit with a couple of them outside of the meeting, and I understand the need for businesses to be able to conduct business, and that's the realm that they're in. I don't think that a few dart tournaments or Mother's Day brunch or a football game trumps the safety of our community. We truly need to be, I said it before and I'll say it again, we truly need to be looking at remedies for long-term solutions to chronic issues in our community and stop slapping Band-Aids on these problems. We need to take a hard line on this. We need to just simply say no and support the community and their wants. And that's all I have.
Great. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes, Councilwoman Borders. You
So-
okay over there?
I'm good. Kind of have the sniffles. It's all good.
Okay.
I've had a lot of time to consider this. As most people know, I voted in favor of this at our last meeting. Since then, I've had, thank you, Nicole, for coming. You have no idea how valuable the input is to someone like me that's been given this power, and I want to make the best decision I can for everybody. So thank you. There have been other citizens that have contacted me, and I was kind of sitting on the fence, so I voted for it because we have 3 readings. Tonight, I'm prepared to vote against it. Several reasons. A lot of it is feedback from the citizens, which is who I work for. A lot of it is my own personal belief, and knowing that the issues we have in our community, I think adding more alcohol to the issue is not the appropriate action to take. So I'm prepared to vote against it. I love our business owners, and I do want them to know that I support them 100%, but I think we need to draw a line somewhere, and this is my line. So I think that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you.
Mia, I have a couple questions for you.
Councilwoman Pearson Lewis.
Is that okay if I address it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
How many business owners were requesting this? Like,
We had an informational liquor license meeting in November. Approximately 1/3 of the liquor license owners were present at the time, and there was a small margin of liquor license holders that were asking for this. Particularly, the issue came about with one of our restaurant liquor license holders who offers Sunday morning beverages and was not under the realization that they were not allowed to be serving.
okay.
And so they said, can we please correct this? We had a couple of our other licensees in the room as well that said, yes, it would be nice, and these are the reasons why, which is what I cited in the staff report.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. This week, I actually requested an arrest report to look at the alcohol-related arrests and how they related to the days of the week. So I could just look and see if there were any less on Sunday and whatever. And they're really didn't necessarily correlate. In fact, Wednesday was the worst day of the week for alcohol-related arrests, which was, I don't know why, but Sunday was very.
That'd be great for you to come on up and you can tell us. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Sunday was very similar to Tuesday. Yeah, Sunday and Tuesday were like the same. So, and they have the same, you know, they have different hours from what I understand. So I just want to point that out before I give my opinion here. So my point here is that I don't necessarily believe that alcohol-related incidents are related to bar or alcohol openings, okay? The statistics or the data do not correlate, okay? That being said, I do believe that what the people want, they should get, okay? So if you guys do not want Sunday more hours for alcohol being opened, I think that's fine. If you don't want it, you don't want it. So I have no problem voting nay on this. But I do want to point out that that is what the data is stating. So whenever you, I just want you to be careful whenever you say, you know, violence is this and violence is that. Do look at data, because it's not stating that, the data is not stating that hours have anything to do with it. So, you know, I will vote against it, but be careful whenever you throw around information like that, okay?
Ms. Stafford, do you want to come up and tell us about Wednesdays? I'm curious now.
Absolutely. Wednesdays are the middle of the week. It's
If you
Sunday.
could tell our,
Oh, I'm
I know
sorry.
who you are, but if you could.
I'm
our
Blaine
public-
Stafford, and I own a business here in town, longtime Riverton resident, and I only manage the establishment that I do not own the liquor license that I'm speaking on behalf of. I only manage that liquor license. And Wednesdays are going to be a really hard day. They're a really hard day in the community. They're a really hard day on downtown Main Street, because it's the day when everybody has not come into town to pick up their Indigenous family members because they've been in town for the weekend. They've managed to stay warm on Monday. They found food somewhere, and by Wednesday, they're freezing ass cold, and they need a place to go, and they may find a little bit of money to buy some alcohol or to get in trouble just long enough to find somewhere to get warm. And whether getting warm is coming in at our derby and sitting down for a little while, having a cup of coffee and getting free water and hanging out where they can get warm, Wednesdays is a really hard day. It's a really hard day at Phil's Dog Shack when people are looking for something to eat. It's a really hard day at the Derby Club clear at the other end of Main Street when someone's looking for a place just to get warm. But I do also want to say that while you don't want to redeem or have these extra hours, we also have fundraisers, and those fundraisers all include alcohol. That all of you come to these establishments that are here, and you ask each and every one of us for a basket to help you raise money for your cause. And we give that alcohol pro bono. We give it no big deal. And you take our alcohol and you take it down to all of your events, to Pause for Life, to the Special Olympics, to the police department that just had their event. And you take our alcohol free gratis. And you use it to make money to support other events. So we're not looking to pad our pockets. We're not looking for anything merely than to say, hey, guess what? My door's open at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, and I want to be full service at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. I'm not asking for anything besides these are my hours of operation. I want to operate fully my hours of operation. I want to operate fully at Phil's Dog Shack, my hours of operation. That means I want my bread available. I want my hot dogs available. I want my corner available. I want my corner clean. I want my trash picked up. I want to open my Derby Club that I represent, and I want to do it with the best I can, just like every other Derby Club that we have across the state of Wyoming. And when they open, they are open 100%. I don't want to turn people away at 10 o'clock. I don't want to turn anybody away, ever. And it's sad for me to see them have to go because their laundry's drying and they maybe want a Bloody Mary while they hang out and put $25 or $35 in a machine. That's more than padding my pocket. That's not padding my pocket. That's doing what I've been hired to do. Opening my business from the hours that they're created, my hours of operation that I have been granted. And if we're not going to do that, then I say we have to find the people that have been not obeying this law and who have known that this law exists. So if we're not going to pass it, then we have to find the people who have been avoiding the situation and who have been not listening to what we know the law to be. So Wednesdays are a very hard day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mia, is there a way that we can change to the ordinance to opening it and not to just opening at 10 a.m. and not extending to 2 a.m.?
Ms. Harris?
Your Honor, whatever is the will of the council, the ordinance can be changed, amended, voted for, voted against, whatever your will is.
You can. I'd ask you to keep it pretty quick since you had already taken the time you had previously, but feel free, Ms. Wagon.
Well, again, my name's Nicole Wagon, and the cause and effect. Thank you, Ms. Pearson, for your words. I just want it noted, meaning cause and effect. My grandson goes to St. Margaret's School. And just to share with you, the parish has put codes. We changed the doors now. So when people, were warm, the priest would let them stay there for shelter. I don't know what the issues are anymore for rides, for the warming hut, or for people to be warm. But with that being said, there's a cause and an effect to everything. And the cost. The cost. And again, I stand here even on behalf of my grandson. He wanted to come down here tonight because I told him where I was going. So, raising upcoming leaders of what they do in the community, how they fed the homeless recently. So with that being said, again, I'm going to ask each and every one of you, think about it. And if something happens, it's on you guys. It's on you. I hate to say that. I'm going to be direct. Mr. Hancock, it's on you too. You're the mayor. You're an elected official. And it's inhumane for the almighty dollar for somebody's life. And I'm even thinking on the other side. The other side, when people get hit, brain damage, the suffering. I've worked at the state training school with the brain damage before. I've seen all this stuff. Former probation officer. My daughter being murdered by underaged people, drinking. Alcohol was a factor. And it's really hard for me to be in this room. This is where we did our press release with my dad sitting right there. So I stand here today. Stop. Think about it. You want to revisit it? By all means. But may the community rise on up and listen to their voices. But I'm going to remind you, you're an elected official. Second, second something happens, it's on you guys. And I hope and pray for the safety of others. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
You can come on up if you want.
Jana Peterson, I own Ralph's Bar. Now, if you guys want to extend your hours on Sunday, where you please the restaurants, what about when I'm doing the Billy Spoon Hunter pool tournament and we can't finish on Sunday because we have to get everybody out of the bar?
All right.
I don't think it's very fair that a restaurant can start out serving early, but then for different things that we have going on in the bar, where we would like to be able to stay open a little bit later, we can't. That does not seem even across the board.
If I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that because your primary product is alcohol versus a restaurant primary product being food, they can have their hours be how they'd like them to be. It's just in terms of serving alcohol can be from this time to this time. But with a bar, the hours of operation limit you in terms of actually when you can open your doors. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the way it is now.
Okay, just wanted to understand that.
You know, by the state, on Sundays, or by the city, we have to have everybody out of there at 10:30 unless you're an employee.
Yeah, according to, I'm Tyler Smith, I own Livestock Liquors. According to the ordinance, after 10 PM, the only person that can be in there after, what is it, 10:15 or 10:30 is an employee of the business. So if there's customers in there, that's against the law after 10:30. So saying we can stop serving, but they can be in there, what's the difference? You know?
Well, and that's what I'm saying in terms of what I think, if I'm understanding Ms. Peterson correctly, you're saying restaurants don't have that limitation because as long as they're not serving alcohol, they don't have limits on hours, if I'm understanding what you're saying. Is that correct?
Is there a rule against that?
Or maybe I'm misunderstanding you. Sorry, Mr. Butterfield?
Your Honor, just to make sure and to clarify, essentially, I think what you're seeking is a restaurant is able to serve food and stay open later, whereas a bar who does not serve food is restricted by the hours that is set forth in the ordinance and therefore would have to close their operation, whereas a restaurant could continue their operation but just cease selling alcohol.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Is that what you're talking about, is the unfairness of it? That a restaurant would be able to stay open?
That serves alcohol to be able to open earlier than us.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, and it's like when the meeting that the bar owners or liquor license holders went to, the one person that has been serving prior to noon on Sundays, they're not even here. They have not shown up for any of these meetings. But has law enforcement done anything to them? Have they had a warning?
Well, not yet. And I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but, I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Thank you guys for that informational meeting in November. It opened my eyes to a lot of things. I'm glad to be on the same page with you guys on special events. You know, there's been a lot of issues over the last couple of years with liquor licenses changing hands. You know, this lady's been in business a long time. I've come to her for a lot of advice. But thank you guys for what you've done for us, trying to help us run our business. In the end, I'm just another kid with an American dream. I want to succeed in life. And if this bar's the way I can do it, I want to give them every opportunity I can to succeed. I have 2 children in the school district myself. I have been affected by alcohol. My grandfather died because of alcohol. My father right now, my stepfather, he's dying because of alcohol. We take it to heart. We care for our customers. We really do. Every single one of them. They are our family. This town is my family. I want to see everyone in this town succeed, regardless of ours. I just want to be given that opportunity to succeed, not be hindered by any means. I will do what is given to me in my power to make sure that that is correct. I don't know if I worded that right, but
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Appreciate it. Anyone else in the audience who wanted to speak? Mayor Warpness?
Good evening, Mayor Hancock, Ron Warpness, council and staff. Continuing my sermon from last meeting. First of all, before I started, I agree with you, Mayor Hancock, that the loss of Monty Richardson, in our county is a terrible, terrible loss. And he was a wonderful individual, and he was just a great loss. So anyway, but we do have a bright spot in that the city of Riverton has hired Gary Michaud, and I have a long history with Gary, and you made a wise choice there. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to him. And I'm not going to take a lot of time. It sounds like maybe people aren't going to pass this, but I want to set the record straight that I'm exposed to extending the hours of operation for liquor dealers on Sunday under any circumstance. Contrary to the article in the Ranger, my suggesting at the last council meeting that the council may want to open the hours of operation for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, was a flippant, off-the-cuff remark that was tongue-in-cheek and dripping with sarcasm. Apparently, humor and sarcasm are lost on the Ranger. And so I just wanted to go on the record with that. And I would enjoy the discussion, whether this is a moral issue, and it's just, when I was with the city, I spent 4 years trying to get tax on beer and was unsuccessful. And many of the problems that we're talking about here, warming huts and all of the other mental health issues associated with alcohol, I'm not opposed to alcohol. In fact, I had a glass of wine with my wife this evening, okay? I don't have a problem with that. That's not the issue. It's the abuse, okay? And the alcohol that's causing the damage to our society isn't carrying its load in terms of helping solve these problems. It's creating the problems, but it's not helping solve the problems. And that's where the issue comes. And yet I was castigated by so many people. You want to raise the tax on beer? What are you, crazy? And it was a tax that was put in place in 1935 and hasn't been raised since, okay? Tax on 1 carton of cigarettes is $6 a carton. Tax on 133 cases of beer is $6. Now that is absurd that we can't correct that. But I tried for ever since I've left office, longer than that. So, but I just think that we're going the wrong way. We can go down that, is it moral or is it ethical or is it, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm prepared to discuss that if anybody wants to go down that road. But anyway, I just thank you very much for allowing me to express myself.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I got one more comment. My name's Nicole Wagon. And I understand people are here for their businesses, and thank you for speaking. Billy Spoonhunter is my uncle. That's my mom's brother. And he was raised with us in the military, graduated from Hawaii. And it hurts my heart. Yes, the tournament. The tournament's been going on all these years without extended hours anyway. So I don't know how it's going to hurt the tournament. What I'm asking is to say no. And may my uncle, my mother's little brother, rest in peace.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience? I know we've got some other liquor license holders here. I don't know if you wanted to stand up and. You're welcome to it if you'd like. I know you're there. Can you see my eyes beaming? As one of the newer license holders, I guess, I suppose.
I think probably the newest in town, yes. I'm Rob Epima with the Adult Rec Center. I sit here and listen and I hear these bleeding heart stories, and man, it does. It pulls on the heartstrings. I get it, you know? But as Tyler said, and pulling on our heartstrings, he was doing too. We're running a business. We live in America, and we've got all these rules and stuff that we've got to follow, and we do it. We do everything we can. And we come in and ask. I came in and asked a month and a half ago or whatever it was when I came in and asked you to consider this. I stood here and I said, we struggle every day with our business. Everybody that has a business struggles. And anything that we can do that can help us, we're going to ask for. Now, you proposed that maybe we open earlier. You know, we went through football season. This is our first year. My wife and I bought this liquor license. We started it in March. And we are scrambling to try and figure out how in the world we're going to make it. You know, it's a tough economy. Everybody knows that. One of the things that we lost out on this year, we were like, oh, great, yeah, let's get the football package and pay all that money for all those football games. And damn it if we didn't have nobody there for the first game because we couldn't open up until the halftime of that first game. Everybody wants to watch Buffalo this year. They all wanted to come see Josh play. They can't because they don't have it at home. They got to go find somewhere else. Well, by the time you go somewhere else, you're not going to leave. So that first game, it's a loss. Every week was a loss. We didn't have anybody there until maybe the second game. You know, that was part of why I came in here. You know, I hear about the pool tournament. I hear about this and that. And, you know, at 10 o'clock at night, okay, I get that. Why not midnight? Why 10? I mean, why any hours? Why can't we just be open? Why can't we have our own hours? These people are going to drink no matter what. It doesn't matter whether we're open or not. They're going to find it somewhere, somehow, some way. They've already got it. I mean, maybe go off sale, turn off sale off, right? Or that's what they called it where I grew up, package. No package, right? Like, let's shut the package off. One of the things that's coming up is the tips training. We have this tips training. We're watching our customers. We had the FBI in the other day. They came in because someone had a terrible accident. So they came in and checked on what was going on. We were tips trained. Our bartenders had done what they were supposed to do. These people came in. I don't know what they did when they left, but they got hammered somewhere else. They didn't buy any package from us, but they went off and they had a horrible accident. It's terrible. But we got checked out by the FBI because it was on the reservation. And they said we did everything that we could do. We did everything right. You know, so we're doing the things we're supposed to do. I just ask that you allow us to run our businesses correctly. And if we don't do it right, then we pay the consequence. But these people are going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter. An alcoholic's an alcoholic. That's what they do. It's their choice. You know, if we have car accidents, too many car accidents, let's check on that. Maybe we should ban cars. Let's change the hours of operation for cars. I mean, it's really frustrating to hear you guys sit up here, and I can't speak to specific people. It's really frustrating to hear people say that they're not gonna do something because somebody else can't make a good choice, and that I just don't understand. It's not my choice, it's their choice to do what they're doing. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Eppema. Go ahead, come on up here.
My name is Rafael Delgadillo, and I own the River City Rendezvous across from the county fairgrounds. Any responsible bar owner is not going to allow intoxicated people in their bar and ply them with drinks. The place that I bought had a reputation. Hard drinking, kind of a difficult place, combative customers, this and that. You could go, you could get drugs there, you could do that. In the year and a half that I've owned it, we've gotten rid of all that. We don't sell to people that are intoxicated, package, or inside. We watch their behavior on the outside as well. No smoking. Within the reasonable things that I can do, we don't allow drug use or people trying to do any of that. We have good surveillance, and we confront people who do try to sell something. So for the most part, a responsibly run bar is not going to allow a person to get really intoxicated and leave their premises, because they shouldn't have been in that condition at all. It is true, people can buy package. And a lot of people, they live a lifestyle where they like package, they like to be outside, they go to these public parks in the streets and things like that. And that's unfortunate. Prior to coming here, I did 31 years in policing in Oakland, California, which is a very lawless city. And we had a lot of problems with alcohol and drugs as well. And we tried a lot of things to limit it. It doesn't always work because you have to get to the person to decide that, for they have to decide they have a problem, they want to deal with it. Then it's easy to work with somebody. But most people who have problems just never admit it to themselves, and they continue going on. The hours that you want to change, I don't think are going to affect it at all. I think that coming in at 10 o'clock was good for football season. As the gentleman said, we couldn't open up at certain times, and no one wants to come at halftime. They're already at home or some other place. But even if you change the hours, I, for one, aren't going to change my business hours. Currently on Sunday, we open at 2 to 10. It works for us. Would we do that? Will we open at 10 during a football game? Probably. But at whatever hours, all these businesses make their own decisions as to when they're going to serve. We work 12 to 12, Monday through Thursday. On Friday, from 12 to 2. On Sunday, we work on the hours that the city allowed. That wouldn't change no matter how many hours you allowed us to do. The business isn't there. It's not the model we're pursuing. So to me, I don't think it's necessarily the hours that's going to cause the problem. As long as we're responsible, bar owners and package store owners, people that are intoxicated aren't going to get it from us then. But they may have gotten it prior, or they may get it when they're not intoxicated and didn't decide to do some public intoxication. Where I came from, I know it sounds terrible, but we had a lot of problem with public intoxication and drug use in the street. We arrested people all the time. They went to the drunk tank, did 4 or 6 hours there, got out and left. I don't see sweeps like that here. Maybe we don't have the resources. But as a bar owner, I go look at other places, and I see inebriated people on the street, and I wonder why they're not being at least talked to, transported somewhere. But I don't think the hours are going to matter. Personally, if someone wants to drink, they're going to drink. And a lot of places in other states when I was younger and I'd go, they'd have laws that didn't sell on Sunday at all. But that Saturday, before the store closed, there was a 100 cars in line. And that was true outside of places, not just with Native people. We had, in our place, 50% of our customers are Native. People drink, Anglos drink, nobody gets out of line. Just has to be responsible. And that's what we need to do. The hours aren't going to matter to me, except for that football season. And yes, getting a special permit would be too much work. But I think just giving us the hours, we can decide what's best for our business and our customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. Ms. Johnson? Councilwoman Johnson? We had started kind of with
Oh, it's
the
fine.
audience, and I didn't want to lose that.
You're fine. I just wanted to respond to a couple of comments that were made, and kind of give perspective on a few things. Ms. Wagon, thank you for speaking. I appreciate that. If you have never identified a family member who's been killed by a drunk driver on a Sunday, I have. Couple of things. Saying that an alcoholic or a drinker is going to get the alcohol no matter what, I agree with you, 100%. They're going to get it, they're going to drink it, they're going to do it however they want. But I equate that to somebody who's suicidal as well, that has 3 bullets in their gun. And approving or advancing this ordinance says that we're giving them 3 more bullets for their gun. And I simply can't, and I don't want to say that this is an ethical or a moral issue at all. We walk a fine line making this decision, supporting business owners, which I do. It's the business that you're in. It's the product that you sell. It's your livelihood. I get that. However, we have an entire city to protect as well. And with that being said, I'm going to choose to protect the citizens of this city for what we already endure on a daily basis. And so I just simply can't get on board with it. I apologize. I understand it's your business, and I support your business. I enjoy a drink. I enjoy going to the events. There's responsible consumption and there's irresponsible consumption. And actually, the numbers on Sunday are just a little bit lower. Those fundraisers, specifically the law enforcement one, helps pay for the additional staff that's needed to take care of those intoxicated people that we're serving. Law enforcement pays the price for what we decide most of the time. And I think there needs to be accountability. So in regards to what Mrs. Peterson had spoken about, if we have a liquor license holder that is serving when they're not supposed to be serving, then they need to be held accountable for that. It is their responsibility to know the laws when they apply for that license and when they obtain that license. And there's no exceptions to that. And I would like to see accountability held for that. That is it.
Right. Any other?
Yeah, I'll say a few things, Your Honor. I just wanted to, this has been more difficult of a decision than I think it should be, but I mean, because I feel like, even though the numbers, I mean, it's really, looking at this, the numbers really, Sunday and Tuesday are very, very similar, and it just, I feel like, and even Monday, they're not that, I don't feel like that there's causation there for arrest and alcohol service to show that there's data that supports that it's coming from the bars or liquor stores. But I do think, or the hours or anything. And it's difficult for me being in Ward 2 because I'm downtown and I feel like that's where most of those stores are. And you know, I've had a drunk person walk into my house before. I've had that happen. But, you know, it's not on a Sunday at 10 o'clock, you know, it was during the day, and we called the police and dealt with the issue and everything. But, so it is a problem. I see that it is a problem. So it's it's a difficult situation and a difficult issue, but I don't know. We'll see. I think, I don't know. I've heard a lot of good testimonies tonight. You guys, thank you for everyone that's showed up. I appreciate it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I have a few comments, and then I think we could probably vote. So I guess first off, this is an ordinance that I had, based on our meeting with the liquor license holders, this came out of that. I think it was a good opportunity to discuss what I think is an important topic. I would say, so first off, Lander has extended hours. Not that I'm saying we should be like Lander. There's good things in Lander. I'm not trying to say we shouldn't be like Lander either, but I mean, Lander has extended hours. The county has extended hours. Ms. Harris found out about, the rest of the state pretty much has extended hours. This was a change that happened in statute in 2017, where it used to be that the state said you could only serve from this time to this time, and Riverton never changed after that. You know, a lot of other communities did. Maybe there were business owners that came and said, hey, could we do this? And community responded, we just never did it. Now, maybe some of that was, some of the thought as to the reasons that have been given as to why. But to me, saying that in this community, people could get alcohol from Lander, from the county, drive over to Res Ride, go anywhere else like that, were, I think, it almost creates more of a danger, which somebody had talked about last time, because you've got people who've been drinking in one establishment, now going to a different establishment, maybe driving there, maybe not. It doesn't make sense, though, to have our business owners lose out on opportunities for revenue, lose out on opportunities to be able to ensure that their employees are able to be tipped, be able to get business, be able to have their business succeed. It's hard enough to be a business owner as it is, let alone with limitations that are put on you that seem to me to be a bit arbitrary unless you look at some of the moral reasons for it or something like that. And so I think saying, and I get the argument saying, okay, if you're going to have it open longer, there's going to be more alcohol availability. But I guess I think we still have the same thing happen. I mean, there's still unintended consequences. If somebody knows that they're not going to be open until later on Sunday, they could be buying more on Saturday, and then now that you've got more booze in your house, you're more likely to abuse it than if you just could go on Sunday and buy it. I mean, there's just a lot of arguments that can go both ways, but as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it makes sense for government to be sitting there and saying, we're going to treat this differently than the other days unless we've got an objective reason for it. Now, if this is something where we were able to see that there's a problem, if we were able to see statistically that there was something going on, like on Sunday or whatever, that changed, maybe one of the reasons Sunday is the lower day is because there's less alcohol sales. I mean, you could look at it, and that could be something that you could argue. But to me, I just don't see an objective reason for the government to be telling business owners what to do, how to do it, and if we can get rid of some of these restrictions, I think it makes sense. So that's why I'm voting how I will. But I appreciate everybody being here. I understand what you're saying. I understand that alcohol is a difficult topic, especially in Fremont County, especially in Riverton. But I didn't want to vote on this without folks understanding where I stand. Your words don't just ring on deaf ears, okay? And that goes for both sides of the argument. All right.
Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
I might be willing to reconsider my vote if maybe we could make it 10 in the morning to midnight. I am not good with 6 a.m. to 2 a.m.
So that wouldn't be necessary, are you making a motion to amend it then? To have it be rather than, because, I mean, the way the ordinance stands would be 6 to 2. Are you making a motion to
I'll
amend
make
it
that
so that it
motion
would be?
if I can get a second.
I'll second it.
So your motion would be to amend it so that rather than being from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m., it would be 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.?
Yes, Your Honor.
12 a.m.
12 a.m.,
12
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We're not talking 2 hours.
That would be bad.
So we're talking basically an extension of 2 hours on Sunday. And you're basically saying that, if I understand correctly, in terms of football games and that kind of thing.
That's exactly right, Your Honor. And I'm all for the business owners. I don't want you to think that I'm not.
Hold on just a second. So the motion is to amend this ordinance as we have it. And let me look at the language of it just to see kind of where this would go.
Oh, football games after 10 p.m., seriously? Where?
So we've got, okay, so that would be, it would basically be an amendment that would change it from the following day, we'd keep in the except on Sundays, and I guess it would be saying 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. there. Does that kind of make sense how that language would work, Mia, with that amendment? Okay. You can come on up, just tell us your name and, again.
So I'm Tyler Smith with Livestock Liquors. Just a quick Google search here, Woodward's Liquor. Open hours. Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Sunday, 12 to 10. Freedom Liquors, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., except on Sundays, 12 to 10, 12 to 6. Myself, 11 to 11, Monday through Thursday, 11 to 2, Friday and Saturday, Sunday, 12 to 10.
So you're saying most people aren't even open at 6 a.m.?
At 6 a.m. But when I fill out my liquor license renewal at the end of the year, beginning of the year, whatever you call it, I put on my hours, business hours, from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m., just in case there is an event, which there has been on, say, a Saturday morning, or those random Fridays that, you know, Joe's coming in for a cup of coffee at 8 a.m. Hey, I'm here, come on in. You want a little whiskey? I can be open at that time. My hours are stated this, but on my license, it is stated this. And that's what we're asking for in the option, basically.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
thank you.
All right, so the motion is
You're on.
10 a.m. to 12 p.m.? Yes, sir.
Please forgive me for interrupting. As it relates to the amendment that's currently on the table, I just want to make note that the previous, actually I should say the current ordinance has an exception for New Year's Eve for Sundays. And as it stands right now, the proposed ordinance obviously strikes that because there's no need to have an exception on New Year's Eve. Would this amendment exclude or include what currently sits in the ordinance as that December 31st exception?
So you're looking at 504040, except that on Sundays not occurring on December 31st, such places may open between the hours of 12 noon and 10 p.m. and shall clear the licensed building of all persons other than employees by 10:30 p.m. So
So, Your Honor, we just want to make sure we have the amendment clear to the language that's currently proposed in the ordinance. As it stands, the motion in the second would not include that December 31st exception. It only would extend the hours from 10 a.m. to midnight. Is that correct?
Even on December 31st,
Yeah, as has been moved and seconded.
okay? Okay, thanks for the clarification. So would you want, I guess, is the motion to keep that language except that on Sundays not occurring on December 31st? So in other words, the way it works right now is that, December 31st, they have the ability to be open 6 a.m. to 12, or I'm sorry, to 2 a.m. on Sundays. And your motion would be that even on December 31st, they could only be open 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. So I don't know. I'm just asking if you want to have that. We could further amend it after we get done with this discussion, I suppose. But
Mr. Hancock, I don't understand your thinking or what's being stated. And then this gentleman with his establishment in football, when's their football game after 10 p.m.?
thank you. I appreciate that. Any other discussion on the motion? And the motion to amend? All right, we've got a motion to amend 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Those opposed, say nay.
Hey,
I appreciate it, Ms. Wagon. Could you please try to limit the comments from the audience? If you're going to speak, you need to be recognized and come up to the microphone. Thank you, though. I appreciate you letting us know you're against it. All right, so now we're on the amended motion. Do we need to have some more clarity regarding the language, or are we ready just to vote?
call for them.
All right. We can kind of finalize that a little bit in third reading, too. All those in favor of the amended motion, which would be for extended hours on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Those opposed, say nay.
Hey,
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Ordinance, well, actually, let's take a break. This is 8:40. It's a good time to take a quick break. We'll take a break until 8:50 p.m. We're in recess. At 8:50, back in session, our next item on the agenda is consideration of ordinance 25002, second reading, amending Riverton Municipal Code 5.04, alcoholic beverages addition, alcohol server training. Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. During the November 2014 informational liquor meeting with license holders, a representative from Fremont County Prevention provided details on alcohol server training, including the training for intervention procedures, or TIPS training program. TIPS is a widely used training program in Wyoming that educates servers on responsible alcohol service. The state currently does not mandate TIPS training for our alcohol licensees. Wyoming statutes, however, does authorize the Department of Revenue to establish rules and guidelines for TIPS training or for alcohol server training. To promote consistency and responsible service across all establishments, the city staff is proposing ordinance 25-002, which would require all employees serving alcohol, whether at newly licensed or existing establishments, to complete a state-approved alcohol server training. Key provisions of the proposed ordinance include mandatory training for employees at all licensed establishments, a requirement for new hires to complete training within 3 months of starting, annual proof of training to be submitted at the time of liquor license renewal, and employees must maintain valid certification throughout their employment. Many license holders noted they already require server training for their staff. This ordinance would standardize the requirements citywide, ensuring all establishments follow the same guidelines. Tana Groom-Smith from Injury Prevention, help me.
The Prevention Coalition.
Thank you. Injury prevention is different. That's why I tripped on that. She was not able to make it tonight. She planned to be here. She did drop off some flyers, and she does have alcohol server training scheduled for February 28th and March 31st, currently on her schedule. And I stand for any questions that you have.
Great. If you could read ordinance 25002 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. And ordinance 25-002 on second reading, an ordinance amending Title V, Business Licenses and Regulations to revise Chapter 5.04, Alcoholic Beverages, by creating Section 5.04.060, Alcohol Server Certification Required of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 25002 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Larson with the second. Discussion.
We talked about it last week. It was good.
Okay.
There's more here.
I guess part of where this came out of was there's already a city ordinance in place that requires not to serve to somebody who's under the age of 21, not to serve to someone who is visibly intoxicated. So to me, this made sense because you're basically saying you need to be training your servers to take steps to avoid getting criminally prosecuted. Just seemed to make sense to me. So I don't know if there's any liquor license holders that wanted to speak about this at all, but anything else? Mr. Arpima?
I do. I'm Rob Epima again. So with this, one of the things that was the reason that I think that this is a great idea is it's already offered for free. So that was part of why we thought that would be great, because it's no additional cost to us as bar owners to have our employees trained, and we think the training is great. So as long as it remains a free program to help us to help our employees, I'm all for it, 100%. Because there's a lot of turnover in the bar industry. So if we have to pay for that constantly, that could be a huge expense. So that is one fear that I do have, that if this does pass, that would be something that would greatly impact us financially. So I think it's a great idea as long as it remains part of the program, and I'm not sure who it is that runs the program.
So it's the Fremont County Prevention Program, and we had talked about this last month in terms of how regular is this happening, and she's doing it once a month. She gave us 2 flyers, one for February 28th and one for March 31st at 9 a.m. Training is free, sessions subject to cancellation based on number of RSVPs. So in other words, if there's like nobody.
If she doesn't have enough, she won't do it, and that made sense. She also said that if we had a group of employees that we could call and she would do it off time, not even when it was scheduled or whatever, or she would try to contact the other bar owners and see if they would have people as well. So I mean, I know it's not a city-controlled thing when it's the Fremont County, so that's one fear I have. If that does happen and we have to have our employees trained like that, and it's like $60 an employee or something like that, that's gonna get to be a huge cost for us as bar owners.
Okay,
So,
good to know.
that's the only fear that I have in that. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have them trained, but if we can't do it at no or very low cost to us, that's gonna be very, very difficult to swallow, so.
Well, sounds good. I appreciate that. And I mean, for right now, that's what we've got, but I also, this is a county-run program, of course, and so, right?
Your Honor. Ms. Groom-Smith, just as he had said, her in-person training is free. She will do training by appointment as needed for larger groups. There's online training that's available anytime. The fee for online training is $38 currently.
Not quite 60, but still a cost.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Public hearing and consideration of ordinance 23003, first reading, 2024 ICC, Building Code Adoption, Interim Community Development Director's Report.
Your Honor, if it's okay, I'll take the lead on this.
Oh, I wanted to hear. Okay, you can take it. Mr. Butterfield.
Your Honor, I also was hoping Dave would take the lead on this. I think it's only fair that I provide this, and then Dave, as our expert, will be able to respond to questions.
Oh, good.
that you may
So we ask him the difficult questions. You take the easy part.
I think that's about right.
Good. All right. Please, Mr. Butterfield, go ahead, give us your report on this.
The state of Wyoming adopted the 2024 International Building Code late last year. This adoption includes the 2024 International Building Code, the International Fire Code, International Fuel and Gas Code, the International Mechanical Code, and the International Existing Building Code. The International Code Council releases new versions of the building code, or these aforementioned codes, every 3 years. Pursuant to Wyoming state statute, municipalities who have assumed local control over building inspections and enforcement of the building codes must adopt the new building codes as adopted by the state within 6 months of their adoption. To reference state statute, that's Wyoming Statute 35-9-121, and I'll just make a quick reference to that. It outlines that the state fire marshal shall delegate complete authority to municipalities and counties which apply to enforce and interpret local or state fire building, existing building standards, or electrical safety standards which meet the requirements of the statute. Included in that is that local enforcement authority under the subsections shall be subject to several requirements. The one that is most important is that the local governing body adopts minimum standards by ordinance or resolution that are equivalent to or more stringent than those applicable standards adopted by the state of Wyoming. So with the state of Wyoming adopting the 2024 codes, and then it kicking off the time frame for you as a governing body to then adopt it, and then also hearing that you have some control but not full control over what you can and cannot adopt. I would mention that the City of Riverton's recommending body on this matter is the Construction Board of Appeals. This board is a 7-member appointed board that is made up of local builders and tradespeople. They received the 2024 building codes on January 21st, 2025, and had opportunity to review and make recommendations to city staff, but also to you as a governing body. On February 10th, 2025, the Board of Appeals met and did recommend that the City Council adopt the 2024 codes with the same exemptions and omissions that were part of the 2021 building codes. So what's before you in this ordinance is an opportunity to amend Chapter 15, Building and Construction of the Riverton Municipal Code, and it basically swaps out what was adopted in 2021 with what was adopted by the state in 2024, and also what is being recommended by staff and the Board of Appeals. With that, any hard questions, Your Honor, I'm sure. Turn those over to Mr. Paxton.
Okay. Thank you. Administrative Services Director, Ms. Harris, could you please read ordinance 25003 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Ordinance number 25-003, an ordinance amending Title 15, Buildings and Construction Codes to revise Chapter 15.04, Building Construction and Maintenance Codes, Sections 15.04.010, adoption, applicability, filing, and 15.04.040, local design criteria and loadings of the Riverton Municipal Code, and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict therewith, and providing for an effective date.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So
Moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion. Councilwoman Johnson with the second. Councilwoman Pearson Lewis with the third. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing open. Be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I'd ask individuals wishing to address the council approach the podium, identify yourself for the record, subject to the same requirements that I'd given at the beginning of the meeting. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak on this item? I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Public hearing closed. I'd entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 25003 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilwoman Johnson. Discussion? Yes, sir.
Your Honor, last time we had on the building code, we had a size of a house, anything above 4,999 square feet had to have a fire suppression system. The council at that time thought that was inappropriate, and B, as our surrounding temperatures right now, if we had a failure, would be more damage to the property from water damage than a fire could possibly cause. Secondly, the size of the connection is not available in most cases. For that size of a house, it would have to be almost 6 to 8 inches. So my question is, after that,
You're saying the water.
yes, sir. I'm saying, is it possible to delineate that out of the building code with an exception?
Go ahead.
Your Honor and Council, that amendment we have made to the International Building Code to not have that included because it would be for every single-family residence. So there is an amendment right now as it stands, but I do believe it is 5,000 square feet. And if you have a fire in a 5,000 square foot home, you're going to have serious damage if you do not have a fire suppression system. The size of line to cover a 5,000 square foot home would be about 4 inch. It's doable in most cases. But that's your decision. If you want it to be amended further, it's up to the council to make that recommendation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paskett. Appreciate that. Well, and what's nice is we have 3 readings on this. And we could have an amendment right now if you'd like, Councilman Larson.
Well, I'm waiting for Mike to tune in.
Yes.
The last time we had a fire suppression in Mike's building, it was only $180,000. Of course, that was in 2017. By now, it's probably $250,000.
Your Honor, if I may.
sir.
Residential fire suppression systems are not under the same standard as a commercial building. So they are, I'm not going to say that they're inexpensive, But what I am going to say is that they're more reasonable. And they've also come up with alternate means and ways to install one in your domestic system that really does not impact it as much as you might think. There will be an additional cost, that's a given. But there are alternative methods being used right now.
Well, I appreciate that. That's helpful information. I will note, I had a letter from a young lady about something similar. She, how do you pronounce it? Eva? Eva? Y-E-V-A? She one of your
Yeva.
students? Eva.
Yeah,
Yeva Montano.
yeah, Maven.
Montano?
Maven Montano.
She was concerned about housing affordability and indicated that we need to come up with some ways to ensure that housing doesn't get too expensive. And I note this because she kind of was right on target, I guess, in terms of wanting to ensure that we've got, there's that balance between safety and affordability that we're always trying to kind of walk that and not get too far in one way or too far in the other way. The last thing you want is to have a fire that's going to spread from a residential building to another residential building. And anyway, I think Councilman Larson's comments make a lot of sense. I think maybe we'll wait until we get Councilman Bailey here and have some more discussion and kind of see where we want to go with that, but.
Your Honor, if I could add one thing.
Sure.
So one of the other things to consider is the cost of insurance. If you have a fire suppression system, especially in apartment buildings and such, your cost of insurance goes down. Whereas then that should be passed on to the person, the tenant of that building, right? So it is an expense, like I said previously, but it does reflect somewhat down the line is that you're not paying such a high insurance premium. And number two is you got to be careful between residential and commercial.
Right.
You have to separate those two out. We're talking specifically residential.
Gotcha.
Commercial, we make no exceptions in commercial.
Right. Well, there's a much bigger risk in terms of to the community, yeah. All right, well, good. Any other discussion on that?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Well, the case of fires most recently have been not from fires starting, but from appliances causing problems, i.e. dryers, and the venting of dryers, and the dust and, I don't know what we want to call.
Lint?
The lint accumulation. And that's up to the property owner or to keep those clean. But even so, they don't.
But it's a good thing to know that there is a danger there that maybe some people aren't addressing.
Right.
That has nothing to do with the ICC building code, but in
Right.
terms of.
So you cannot, because it's a code, it does not prevail and make everything safe.
Right.
What I'm trying to say. It drives costs up because they've got nothing better to do than to figure out what they haven't got in there.
Right. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. I vote aye, motion passes. Well, this is always just the funnest time of the year, isn't it, Ms. Harris? Public hearing and consideration of 2025, 2026 liquor license renewals. Was wondering why we had, I knew why we had it, our liquor license holders here but anyway, take it away. Administrative Services Director's report, please.
I feel like I've had the lion's share of the agenda tonight, so it's just that time of year. Mayor and council, before you tonight is for consideration are the annual liquor license renewals for the licensing term April 1st, 2025 through March 31st, 2026. Each year, liquor license holders must submit a renewal application to the licensing authority, which is us, the city of Riverton. This year, we received 31 renewal applications consisting of 22 retail liquor licenses, 2 club liquor licenses, and 7 restaurant liquor licenses. One current licensee, More Burgers and Shakes, has opted not to renew their license, and as a result, their license will expire March 31st, 2025. The collected fees have generated $38,000 in revenue for the city of Riverton, in addition to any sales tax revenue generated throughout the year. City staff conducted a preliminary review confirming that all applicants are in good standing with no violations. All required fees have been paid, and the public notice has been properly advertised. And just a quick synopsis of what this looks like for us as we receive these. We are notified by the Wyoming Liquor Division that the application period is open. Approximately 5 business days after that, the city staff provides the applications to the liquor license holders, and they have until December 31st to provide the application, the fees, and then also we require copies of their lease agreements if they're leasing their building, and that lease term must be through the period of the liquor licensing season. We also check the Wyoming Secretary of State's office to check to ensure that the business is in good standing. We then, after we collect those, send them to the Liquor Division. They also verify with the Wyoming Department of Revenue that they're current on their sales taxes. And we also, here at the city, I got ahead of myself, if they're serving food on premise, then they also have to provide their food service permit that's issued by the Department of Ag. So we go through some pretty extensive steps to ensure that our licensees are maintaining the appropriate balance of keeping their business finances in order, and that we have all the appropriate paperwork before submitting it to the state. And with that, staff does recommend approval of all 31 applications pending certification of completion by the Wyoming Liquor Division.
All right, thank you. I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Borders. I just about did it again because I was writing it down. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. I declare the public hearing open. Hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes and other applicable laws. I'd ask those individuals wishing to address the council on this item to come to the podium. Tell us your name for the record. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak? I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Larson with the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. I entertain a motion to approve the renewal of 31 liquor license applications submitted to the city clerk's office for the April 1, 2025 through March 31, 2026 liquor licensing term as noted in the packet.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion. Councilwoman Pearson Lewis with the second. Discussion, amendments.
Your Honor.
Councilwoman Johnson.
I just want to clarify, in the previous discussion, it was stated that one of them were serving when they weren't supposed to be serving, and there was no accountability of that or no documentation of that. Are they one of the licenses?
Your Honor, they are. They innocently said that they were not aware of it, even asked to come to the council to address the issue with the council. We asked them at the meeting to cease serving prior to the Sunday hours, of which they immediately have. So at this point, there has not been any further enforcement as far as police visitations to their location. Certainly, if that's the will of the council, we can pursue efforts regarding that, but that was the action that was taken at the time.
So their counseling has been documented,
Yes.
but there was violation of it.
There was. They honestly said they did not know. They spoke up on they didn't have to, but they did, spoke up on the meeting and said, oh, we did that, we didn't know. And I said, please cease selling alcohol on Sunday mornings.
Anything else, Councilwoman Johnson?
I think as long as that serves as a warning, that shouldn't occur again, that should be okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye, motion passes. Tourism Asset Development Grant Awards. City Administrators report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief in the background because each of you are already up to speed on the program and also the recent appointment of an ad hoc committee to serve as the promotion committee. The committee was comprised of Councilmember Bailey, Johnson, and Borders. The City of Riverton advertised grant requests for use of the TAD monies. 19 community entities submitted interest in receiving those promotional dollars. There was a total of $177,900 that were requested. As delineated in your packet, we are estimating to receive $86,595 in TAD monies for calendar year 2025. The committee was able to review each of the applications. Included in your packet is their recommendation of award. I'll run through those briefly for those that are in the audience and those watching at home. It is recommended that the 1838 Rendezvous Association receive $2,000, the Cats Museum receive $500, the Riverton Chamber of Commerce received $25,000, the Fremont County Air Service Team received $7,500, Fremont County Fair received $5,000, the Rendezvous City Beef Roundup received $5,000, Riverton Autocross to receive $1,000, the Riverton Museum to receive $500, Riverton Raiders to receive $4,000, the Riverton Rendezvous Committee to receive $10,000, Riverton Youth Soccer Association to receive $5,000, the Rocky Mountain Rebels? Thank you. Abbott and Acronym. So the Rocky Mountain Rebels Car Show, I think, summer and winter. The summer show to receive $3,500, the winter show to receive $500. And finally, the Depot Foundation to receive $9,500, and that is for the Heritage Trail signs that Ms. Kathy Klein is partnering with them on. The committee also recommends that $7,000 be reserved for a new opportunity fund and not awarded at this time so that the council can consider future or new opportunities. With that, Your Honor, staff recommends that the City Council award the TAD Committee's recommendation to the entities as outlined.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to consider recommendations of award from the promotion committee for the TAD program.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Pearson Lewis, motion. Councilwoman Johnson with the second. Discussion.
Your Honor, the only comment I have is that it's really tough when we have $177,900 in requests, and we have about $86,000 to work with. So it's definitely not an easy decision to make. So we really, thanks to Councilwoman Johnson, we had Helen from the Wind River Visitors Council kind of sit in, and we kind of went over, you know, does this fit? And kind of narrowed it down that way. So,
Looks like you did a good job. It really did.
And the only thing I wanted to add to that was with the Depot Foundation, I believe that finishes off that project,
I believe so.
the funding for that project, so they can complete that. So really exciting stuff coming from that. I'm excited to see what they do with that and the new signages and the stories that tell about Riverton and its beautification and its truly being used for its intended purpose.
Well, and I think when you've got that 160-some thousand you're working with that people want, and you've got to cut that in half,
It
less than
wasn't
half.
easy.
Well, I guess a little more than half, I should say. But you've really got to boil it down to, theoretically, you could say, oh, let's give half of what everybody's asking for, and then we can make it work. But you've got to figure out where it's going to actually best benefit the community. And I think that's where it gets difficult. And I think you had a lot of difficult decisions there. But I appreciated you being willing to step up and do it. And I agree, having Helen Wilson there is very helpful. I mean, it's her program.
Ultimately.
But it's tax dollars, and I think that's where that's important, but it's tax dollars that are meant to be spent in a very specific way in terms of ensuring that we've got tourism coming to Riverton.
And the new opportunity fund leaves room for new projects to come through. So I thought that was a really good idea.
Yeah.
That was a unique one. I don't know that we've done it built-in previously, have we? I mean,
We did do that last year.
Did we?
Just not to that degree.
yeah.
I think it might have been 5,000 last year.
I know that's what we had left, but I wondered if that was just because of the change in receipts compared to
No,
what
I
the proposal
think
was.
maybe Kyle can answer this, but I think we kept some in last year as a cushion.
Your Honor, that's correct. As the council reviewed the applications last year, there was one in particular that the council wasn't sure if it met the guidelines of the TAD program, and so it was held back and not awarded. And the funds that would have gone to that entity were held, almost like a new opportunity fund. And then within a month or so, more information was provided, coordination was able to be made with the visitor council, and then the council was able to award that and disperse essentially the entirety of the funds.
I remember that now. Thank you for the reminder. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor? Well, I guess the motion was just to discuss it. Do we have I guess, consider recommendations? I suppose.
Move to accept it, or?
Everybody like the recommendations from the TAD fund?
That's great.
From the TAD subcommittee for the TAD fund? Okay. Just want to clarify where we're at. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Okay. Fiscal year 2026 budget calendar, Administrative Services Director's report, please.
Yes, Your Honor, to ensure transparency in the budget planning process, the staff has drafted a proposed calendar for the fiscal year 25-26 budget meetings. Some deadlines are dictated by state statute. Wyoming Statute 16-4-104 requires departments to submit their budgets by May 1st. Staff will then review submissions to ensure they are responsible and reasonable. Wyoming Statute 16-4-109 mandates that the governing body hold a budget hearing no later than the third Tuesday in June. It's no sooner than the second Tuesday and no later than the third Tuesday in June. The proposed budget timeline is March 11th through the 29th to do a preliminary budget planning. In April, staff will hold meetings regarding personnel, capital planning, revenue projections, and final review. May 14th, we have proposed a budget work session for the council. June 11th, a tentative final budget hearing. Staff will notify the media of these dates in case a quorum is present. And at this time, staff proposes that the council approve the proposed fiscal year 25-26 budget calendar.
We're looking at a different one here. Mine has June 10th is the public hearing and adoption. You had just said June 11th.
I apologize, let me check the actual calendar instead of my notes.
And then May 13th was the council work session. Are we,
May 13th is the council work session, yes, correct.
okay. I thought you had said the 14th and then had said June 11th.
I did. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Look at the actual calendar. Those are the real dates. Listen to me.
I just wanted to make sure. Well, because it was a day off, I was wondering if you were looking at last year's or something.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, and I guess just to clarify too, I mean, some of these dates are really just internal dates in terms of things being due, that sort of thing. If we have it marked as council, that's definitely something that we would encourage and would want council members to be there for. And what time would those start if council members were wanting to attend where it's marked council?
Your Honor, we've traditionally done those at 2 o'clock. We'll be sure to make sure that you have the times for those dates, but we'll plan on 2 o'clock for our meetings.
Okay? And I guess just, I know this is something that's a budget calendar that we're approving. The place where the public has the ability to come and speak and say what they think about the budget, though, that would be at the public hearing on June 10th. I just want to clarify that in terms of this calendar versus what will be the public hearing for the budget.
Yes, and Your Honor, if it's okay, we'd also welcome them at the work session as well.
Correct, yeah. May 13th. Okay, yes. Okay, any other discussion? Oh, not discussion, I guess we need a motion. I'd entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year 27 budget calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Larson with the motion, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Any discussion? I kind of jumped the gun with discussion there. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye, motion passes. Optional half-cent tax funding agreement amendment, Brunton International LLC. Ms. Harris, I know you're getting tired of talking.
Thank you. On August 29th, 2023, the City of Riverton entered into an agreement with Brunton International to allocate economic development tax funds for purchasing new or modified tooling equipment to manufacture military-grade compasses and transits. The agreement specifies that funds cannot be used for general operations and must be spent within 18 months with required reporting on job retention, financial impact, and local supplier purchases. The city retains the right to recover funds if the recipient fails to meet the conditions. On February 11th, 2025, Brunton International submitted a formal request for a minor modification in the approved use of funds. They've also requested a 6-month extension to the 18-month spending deadline due to the need for a new mold that's now being produced by a different vendor. The recipient reports that the mold's cost will exceed the allocated $76,286,000, which they were provided, but they are not requesting additional funding. While they anticipate using the funds before the extension period ends, they do seek flexibility to ensure timely product fulfillment. The city may choose to approve the request, propose modifications, or deny the extension. And we have a very patient representative of Brunton in the room with us tonight, should you have any questions regarding their request.
Well, and I appreciate you attending and being attentive. All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the amendment 1 to the agreement for use of economic development tax funds between the City of Riverton and Brunton International.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Borders. Oh,
Yeah.
Let her have it.
Councilwoman
It's good.
Jorders.
We agree. Good. Let it go.
Any other discussion? I really appreciate you being on the ball like this. We've had a couple of people that have come forward and have said, oh, that was, we can't do what we said we were going to do because it's less money, so we'd like to kind of do an amendment. We've had some people that did that. I'm appreciative that you recognize, as we've said, taxpayer dollars. We try to take it seriously. We try to make sure that a contract means something. So in terms of partners that the City of Riverton can have, appreciate Brunton. Yep, a good long time. Any other discussion? Councilwoman Johnson, by the way, wants to go see how things work downstairs.
I do. It's an amazing building. Thank you.
One of the few days that they're not hard at work there.
Some of us work holidays.
I was working.
I was working.
Said he wasn't.
No comment.
I was gonna say, state employees. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Thank you for your patience. And thank you for your long history in Fremont County and in Riverton. We appreciate you. All right, next up, optional half-cent tax funding agreement, Riverton Mercy House. Are you going to give us this report, Mr. Butterfield, just to give Ms. Harris a break?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
City Council approved $10,000 of the optional 0.5% economic development funds to the Riverton Mercy House on January 21st, 2025, and directed staff to prepare a funding agreement. I've had opportunity to work with members of the Riverton Mercy House, and we've prepared the agreement that is in your packet. It's very similar to the other agreements that have come before you for the use of the optional 0.5% tax. I would like to specifically note that this agreement states that the recipient shall utilize the funds associated with the optional 0.5% funds to make repairs and renovations to the existing structure at 921 East Washington in order to make the facility habitable for staff members and clients. It also states that Riverton Mercy House will employ one new full-time employee within 12 months of entering into this agreement. Other provisions are very similar in that time is of the essence. We hope that they utilize the funds within 18 months. And also, if they do not utilize the funds as outlined in the agreement, the city can ask for that to be refunded or the funds to return to the city. With that, we do have a member of the Riverton Mercy House Board in the audience, and we want to thank them for their work. And staff recommends that you execute or approve this agreement and execute it.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement for use of economic development tax funds between the City of Riverton and Riverton's Mercy House.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilwoman Johnson with the second. Discussion.
Not really discussion, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am?
And I don't know if you had an opportunity to, Rowena, I had a individual stop in at the store who works closely with drug court clients, and they are struggling getting them back into the work sector. A lot of businesses are denying them the opportunity for work for whatever reason. And she had come to talk to me as a business owner and as a friend. I called Rowena and asked her if the Mercy House would entertain the thought of employing some of these folks to bring them back into the community and have them be contributing members of society and on the right track, keeping them on the right track. They graciously agreed to visit with her, and I don't know how that went, so I was hoping you had an update.
Well, it had, Mayor and Council, thank you for having me and appreciate the consideration of the funds. She did contact me, and we had a great conversation, and I'm kind of excited about what she had to say because I think it'll be another good marriage for us because the people that she has are people who have been where the people are that are there right now, the homeless, the alcoholics, the that want to move forward, that want to better themselves and do things for others. So I think it'll be a good marriage. The whole board hasn't been contacted. We haven't had a meeting in any of that stuff. I did ask her to go to the website and look at our stuff that we have on. We have a website, we have a Facebook page, and there's information there to donate, volunteer, all of that kind of stuff. So I did ask her to do that, and I invited her to come to our board meeting and introduce herself and lay out because she can say it much better than I can say it. So lay out some of her thoughts and things that they could do. And we do have a fundraiser coming up on April 5th. You're all invited. Buy your tickets. Please buy your tickets. She was going to volunteer for helping at that event as well, that fundraising event too, because they have to do a certain amount of volunteer stuff too. So yes, I think it's a good marriage, and yes, I believe that there is opportunity for employment for those people.
I think it's given them a new trade too. They're learning new trade. They're learning interaction with the public. They're learning building, remodeling, cleaning, just general interaction. I thought it was a really good matchup. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate
you sending them to me. We can use all the help we can get right now, so.
Real one question, just for me, myself, and the hearing public. Fundraiser April 5th.
April 5th.
How does a person get tickets?
You can go on our Facebook page or our webpage. It's Riverton's Mercy House. On the Facebook page, it's rwymercyhouse.com. There's a link to it on the Facebook page. And there's a place to purchase your tickets, the way to purchase your tickets. So donate or
Zeffy.
tickets. Zeffy, thank you. This is not my strong suit. So,
$50 for an individual, $110 for a couple, $400 for a sponsorship, $700 for a corporate tape.
see, he's all over it. He's got all the information right there.
And you could add a donation for Riverton's Mercy.
You absolutely sure can. Share that with all of your people, okay? Mayor, please.
Well, that's why I was telling it. I shared it actually on my Facebook page just today, ironically enough. But yeah, Saturday, April 5th, it's going to be at St. Margaret's. St. Margaret's, I think, had agreed to
They donated.
donate the use
facility.
of the space. Going to have a brisket dinner, auction, and a raffle. So exciting. Hope we get a lot of people attending, because I think, we talked about this a little bit ago, but that's an expensive proposition to get both buildings at a point where they can be used. And I appreciate your plan right now to be getting the one in a way it can be used for right now, and then continue to work on the other.
Well, I did get information from Jack Schmidt, who had in the past contacted, don't have the name in front of me, Brownfield something, to do an assessment on the other building to help us move in that direction. So that's all the further I've gotten with that information. But Kyle also gave us that information too, and Jack did give me the information, so.
And I would note that, and we talked about this at WAM just recently, and it was good information to have, and you probably got it from Councilwoman Johnson already, but the new grant
Yes.
Agency that they have through Wyoming, they will help nonprofits, which I think is huge.
Yeah, Scott Comers is the guy currently on our board that's doing the grant part of we've all taken kind of a piece of it, and we're all working together, but also you have to go individually and do some different things, so he's kind of taken on the grant part of it, so he's got all of that information that she's given me, I've given to him. This Brownfield information too, I'm trying to get to him as well, so.
There's going to be the Grant Summit again this year in Riverton.
In April.
I think would be great to attend as well.
Yes, it's on the list.
I'm just trying to pass what
I appreciate it. I like I said, all the help that I can get, y'all send me wherever you need to send me, and I will go. I promise.
We'll do that.
I will dance right in there and get whatever I can get out of it.
Maybe the sled board? I'm just kidding.
That'd be a good place.
Well, thank you, Ms. Bland. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Contract approval. Public Works 1, pavement assessment and sign inventory. If you even remember how to speak anymore, Public Works Director Eggleston, your turn.
Oh, I'll give it a shot, Mayor. Thank you. Mayor and Council, before you tonight is a request from myself to execute a contract with Public Works 1. It's a service agreement that'll do asset and data tracking services for 90 center line miles in the city of Riverton for $15,000. The city in 2015 did a similar project, primarily based on pavement assessment. And that project at that time was $82,808. This project will allow us to get high definition street imagery of our assets, GPS data points, and through a high resolution camera, and also a detailed pavement assessment. The pavement condition assessment is a tool that the Forest Committee uses. We as staff use it, trying to develop projects or look at roadways that are in need of attention, and basically trying to decide which is the best method to mitigate any issues. This project will incorporate with our existing iWork system, which is a software for service. We currently own those two modules for pavement management and sign inventory, but they're just underutilized now. With this product, we can fully use that platform. It's very beneficial from a budget and planning standpoint, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to authorize the Public Works Director to execute the Public Works 1 service agreement, PW1, for asset and data tracking services on 90 center line miles in the corporate limits of the city of Riverton in the amount of $15,000.
So moved.
Enough
Second.
detail there? Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Borders. Any other discussion?
I just have a quick question for Mr. Eggleston. So we already own the apps or programs or whatever is going to be needed in order to operate it? And there's no cost in the future to upgrade that or software or anything like, I mean, is there any cost for software upgrade?
We, Your Honor, Councilwoman Johnson, we pay a yearly subscription for this service. The original proposal had an increased cost if we were to buy it new, which would be the annual cost, basically, of over $7,000. I don't have the number right in front of me. However, we already pay for that service, so the modules will be activated in our system, and it's basically right around a little over $400 more a year to import that data into the system. But that covers the entire platform, the iWork, work management, and the pavement analysis and the sign inventory.
So it's just an added module that's going into
We're
the
just going
program
to
we
be
already
using
have?
those modules.
Perfect, okay.
Anything else? By the way, I would say I thought that Public Works 1, the first time I saw this, I thought it was a typo and somebody had accidentally put that 1 in there.
I did too.
I figured it out, but the first time I saw it in the packet, I was like,
Public Works number 1.
yes. I knew that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. We have come to that time in the meeting where I'm going to ask the question that I already know the answer to, but I want to verify I do. Mr. Butterfield, is there a need for an executive session tonight?
No, sir.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Borders. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. We are adjourned at 9:46 PM.